Hare Krishna, Radhe Radhe, Dandavat Pranam. Welcome to Sri Sri Radha Vinodihari Mandir, Gopinath Bhavan, Sri Vrindavan Dham. I'm just going to check and make sure it's actually working. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Panagori Guru Varga ki jai, Pathi Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Sachinandan Gaur Hari ki jai, Radha Vinodihari Ju ki jai, Radha Ramana Ju ki jai, Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Hari Nam Sankirtan ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. So we will begin on page 1 of this book, Sri Gauriya Giti Guccha, with Mangalacharan, Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam. Dandava Pranama Vaishnavas. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahamana Raghunatam Vitantam Sajivam Savetam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahamana Lalita Shri Shakhanditamshcha Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjano Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Nityanamine Shri Krishna Leela Katane Sudaksham Bodharya Madhurya Gunashcha Yuktam Maram Varenyam Purusham Mahantam Narayanam Tam Shirashan Namami Tridandinam Bhakta Shiromanim Cha Shri Krishna Padabjidataika Hriddi Chaitanya Lilavrita Sarasaram Narayanam Tam Satatam Prapadye Namahum Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Namo Vishnupadaya Gaura Presthaya Bhutale Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragyana Keshavo Nityanamine Patimartya Charitrayo Swashvitarancha Panine Jivaduke Sadarkaya Shri Nama Premadayine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Namine Shri Varshabhanamine Dayitaya Kripadhaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnanodayine Prabhave Namaha Madhurya Ujjvala Premadhya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktina Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दिनतारिणे रूपानुगम्यरुद्धाप सिद्धान्तोद्भक्तहारिणे नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्भरसम्बोधे पदम्बुजायते नमः नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगमनायते गौराविर्भावभूमिस्तं निर्दिष्टसजनप्रिय वैष्णव सर्वभौम श्रीजगन्नाथाय ते नमः वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्तो राधाकान्तो नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जयतां सुरतोपङ्गोर्मम मन्दमतिर्गति मत्सर्वस्वपदम्बोजो राधामदनमोहन दिव्यवृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमः श्रीमद्रत्नागारसिंहासनस्थो श्री श्रीराधा श्रीगोविन्ददेव प्रेष्ठादिभिः सेव्यमानो स्मरामि श्रीमन्द्रसरसारम्भी वंशिवत्ततस्थितः कर्षन्वेणुस्वरैर्गोपीर्गोपीनाथ श्रीस्तुनः वृन्दाय तुलसीदेव्यै प्रियाय केशवस्य च कृष्णभक्तिप्रदे देवी सत्यवत्यै नमो नमः पंचतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम् जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद चेतो दर्पणमार्जनं भवमहादावनिर्वापनं श्रेयोकैरवचन्द्रिका वितरणं विद्यावधूजीवनम् आनन्दाङ्गुलिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतास्वादनम् सर्वात्मस्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्ण संकीर्तनम् हरेर्नाम हरेर्नाम हरेर्नामेव केवलं पदो नस्त्येव 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 गतिमन्यता हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे गुरुदेव कृपा करके मुझको अपना लेना Page 360 Gurudev कृपा करके. And for those of you who do not have songbooks, Jiva Pavana Prabhu always posts the bhajans with the translations and sometimes beautiful commentaries. So just scroll down to the latest post in the thread and you should find it there. गुरुदेव कृपा करके मुझको अपना लेना गुरुदेव Shri Gurudev ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Guru Parampara ki jai. Thakura Vaishnavagana, Kori E Nivedana, Mobaro Adhama Durachar, page 43, THAKURA, BAISNAVA, Gana, GANA.
Page 43. Kishori, you don't have to wait, there's a lagging.
Okay. Thakura Vaishnavagana, Kori E Nivedana, Thakura Vaishnavagana, Nitai Mor Jivanadhan, Prashilo Chandras Thakur, page 57, Nitai, Nitai, Mor, M-O-R-A, Jivanadhana, Jidana, Dhana. Do you want to have this over there?
Sure, just in case anybody wants.
Slide it down. No, it's okay.
Sorry.
Let's keep it here for now.
Sorry. You have to like hit it down and then hit it up again so you can refresh it.
It's refreshed.
Sorry. Threw my back out.
Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya
Shri
प्रभु हे एमोन दूरमति संसार भित्तरे.
66.
You want to lead it? Okay. 66.
Starts with Prabhu Hey. Is that the only one that starts with Prabhu Hey?
Yes. Prabhu he emona durmati. EMONA DURMATI, but starting with Prabhu he PRABHUHE with an exclamation point. Prabhu he emona durmati samsaro bhitare Odiyaya chinu ami Prabhu he mona durmati
Prabhu
Bandhu sange jadi tava ranga parihas.
Number?
I don't know. Page 124. BANDHU SANGE JADITABA. Bandhu sange jadi tava. 1, 2, 4. Bandhu sange jadi tava ranga parihas. Bandhu sange jadi tava Bandhu sange jadi tava ranga parihas. international incident. Now we will call out for the mercy of Srimati Radhika. Did we just sing that the
Yeah,
other
we
day?
did. We did. So we just added it.
What was it? Radhika Charanavena.
Well, can't we sing like something like Srila Radhika Vihartha Ashtakam or Radhika Kataksha or something? We have 15 minutes.
A lot more.
Well, I mean for Radhika.
Sure.
Which one?
Kumkumakta Kanchanabja. Starting with K-U-N-K-U-M-A-K-T-A, page 279.
It's called Sri Radhika Ashtakam. I think there are a couple parts. Page 279.
This is by Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, Sri Radhika Ashtakam. Ooh, it's long too. Yeah. So the tambour is throwing me off. 1 second. I just don't want to do it too high, so I have to do it.
You can, if I can't hit it, just do it. Do it what's easiest. I'll do it in my mind. We can also do Radha Guitar.
Hare Krishna. I'm trying to remember the tune. Sudevi is remember the tune. Oh, there we go.
Like that.
You go from really low to high. Okay, so all together, because it's a long one, so we'll sing it together. Kumkumata Kanchanabja Garavahari Gaurabha Ekaranjita Jagandha Kirti
Hare
प्रतिपाल श्री नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय, प्रेम पुरुषोत्तम सच्चिदानंद गौर हरि की जय, राधा बिहारी जी की जय, राधा जी की जय, गिरिराज महाराज की जय। हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय, हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय, गौर भक्तवृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। गुरवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्ण भक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकाय चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय राधिकाय प्रियात्मने श्री श्रीमद् भक्तिवेदांत नारायणेति नामिने। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं, यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं निनतारिणम्। First of all, I offer my Dandavat Pranam thousands of times at the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishna Vishnupad, Astottara Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And the same thousands of Dandavat Pranam at the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishna Vishnupad, Astottara Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and to all of our Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Varga. And my Dandavat Pranam to all Vaishnavas who ever were, who are now, and whoever will be, including all who are present with us today. I offer my Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam. Do you want this?
Yeah, that's good. So, today we will continue going beyond Vaikuntha. This is a beautiful compilation of the lectures, some of the lectures that our Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj gave on Sri Sanatan Goswami, Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita, which is the essence or the foundation for all of the works of our Goswamis. It is essential for us to understand, and from this you can see very clearly the conceptions and the teachings of our Guru Varga our Gurudev, our Srila Prabhupada, our Srila Govinda Maharaj, our Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, all of these senior disciples of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. Why? We know that certain personalities would bring people to court, this means our Param Gurudev, if they deviated even slightly from his teachings. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and really our entire Guru Parampara. What is the Tattva Siddhanta behind this basic foundational principle? No matter what association this Gop Kumar had, nothing could change his intrinsic, inherent, eternal nature. It always remained. It didn't matter that he was even associating with different forms of the Supreme Lord himself. Narayan, Sri Ram, Dwarkadish Krishna. What to speak of the best devotees of those realms. This could not change the intrinsic nature of his Atma.
So, before I forget, I just want to remind you when you were Srika and Kirtan, when you like to see them? Somebody's not
Chinese.
Huh? Anyway, just remember after.
So, this point is being told very clearly throughout this treatise, throughout this Brihad Bhagavatamrita. And it was very, very dear to our Gurudev, very dear to our Guru Varga. Even Srila Rupa Goswami himself. We are hopeful followers of the footsteps of those who are Rupanugas, those who are followers of Rupa Goswami. And Rupa Goswami sees Sanatan Goswami as his Shiksha Guru, as his Gurudev. So, what to speak of the benefit we can achieve by taking shelter of Sri Sanatan Goswami. So our Gurudev's commentaries are full of rasa, full of nectar and full of transcendental moods, rasik and bhavuk. So before entering into this transcendental literature, we will pray to Sri Sanatan Goswami in the words of Sri Raghunath Das Goswami. Vairaga juga bhakti rasam prayatnaya apayanan mam anubhipshamandam Kripambudirya paradukaduki sanatanastvam prabhum ashrayami. Begging in the dust of the lotus feet of Sri Sanatan Goswamipada and of our Srila Gurudev, the commentator, that may even a particle of their moods which are present within the pages of this book manifest within our hearts. Srila Gurudev explained that if we approach these transcendental books with this kind of mood, then the books will reveal themselves to us. Because they are transcendental, they're not mundane, the process of acquiring knowledge from them is not the same as acquiring knowledge from any mundane book, where you can open it, you can read something, and you can understand it. But if we pray to those personalities who actually have manifested this, we beg them for even a particle of their mercy. By their mercy, not only the book itself, but all of its deeper meanings may begin to manifest in our hearts. As we heard about Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami yesterday, Sudevi was repeating the words of our Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, that all of the teachings of Ramanujacharya, of all Shastra, of everything was present within his throat. This is actually a symbolic saying of everything had already manifested in his heart. By the mercy of Sri Ramanujacharya, by the mercy of his Gurudev, Prabhu Ramananda Saraswati, and his other Shiksha Gurus, Trimala Bhatta, Vyankat Bhatta, and also by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all transcendental knowledge was manifest in his heart. And what was inside of him, what was in his throat, he wrote that down in sutra form. Very like a sutra is like code. Very shorthand form. And from that, Srila Jiva Goswami expanded upon it, and this became known as the Tattva Sandarbhas. All of these 6 Sandarbhas came from that. Hari Bhakti Vilas came from that. So Sanatan Goswamipada was expanding upon it. Gopal Bhatta Goswami was expanding upon it. Srila Jiva Goswami was expanding upon it. All the transcendental Tattva Siddhanta that was already manifest in his heart. Yasya deve para bhaktir yatate deve tataguru tasyaite katita hyarta prakashante mahatmana. For that person who has unalloyed faith in the Supreme Lord, and the same kind of faith, transcendental faith, at the lotus feet of Sri Guru, all transcendental knowledge is automatically revealed within the heart. And this is really our process. It's not the process of ascending knowledge, that by my own power and strength I can capture the absolute truth. He was beyond the capacity of the material senses or the subtle material senses, meaning the mind, intelligence, and ego. But by the process of prayer, by the process of supplication, by the process of calling out for mercy, then something may begin to manifest. And as that is beginning to manifest, then more Shraddha, then Nishta, Ruchi, Asakti will manifest. And by that calling, a pulling will manifest. Pulling. We will call their grace and their mercy. And by their grace and mercy, then transcendental knowledge may be revealed within our hearts. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, in his, I think it was an essay entitled Thakur Bhakti Vinod. You can find it on BBMLU, Bhaktivedanta Memorial Library University, I think. BBM, oh God.
BBLMN.
No. BD, Bhaktivedanta Memorial, MLU.org or .net. In there, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, in his section, has an article called Thakur Bhakti Vinod. You can post it if you can find it. BBMLU. Yes. And there he is saying that there are those persons who have captured every word of Bhaktivinoda Thakur by memory, and they can recite it backwards and forwards without having captured the least essence of its true meaning. This is because they have not actually followed his instruction. You can capture everything, you can know everything, every shlok in all scriptures. But if you don't follow the process which is set out by those scriptures, you won't be able to actually realize or understand its essence. And then he explained that the only way is to secure the guiding grace of the pure devotee. That person who is the transparent medium for transcendental information. And by their mercy, by service to such a person, tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashrena sevaya. By submittance, by supplication, by asking relevant questions, and by following their instructions and serving them, then we may be able to understand some transcendental subject matter by their grace, not by our own power. Ekakya mar nahi paibal. On my own I have no strength. For Harinam, but Harinam is also not different from Krishna's names, forms, qualities, and pastimes. Harinam means names, forms, qualities, and pastimes, which really is the subject matter of all Shastra, and even the words of the pure devotees. So how do we understand? By their mercy, by serving them, by being in their association. Then we can be able to understand something. So it is essential for us. So, speaking that, now we will pray to be able to enter into this book and pray to receive some transcendental, I don't want to call it information, inspiration within our hearts. Really, the purpose of all of it is to increase the desire for bhakti, which means the tendency to serve Krishna for his happiness, his pleasure, and his benefit. This is the purpose of all of our Shastra. I've read by our Guru Varga that all Shastra is simply a commentary on Harinam. And what is the purpose of Harinam? O Radha, O Krishna, please engage me in your service. I am yours, I am yours. Oh, thank you Jiva Pavana Prabhu for posting that. It's a very powerful article. I recommend that you all should read it. Okay, so the last time, before Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami's disappearance day, and before the day that we spoke about tomatoes and carrots and certain things that we shouldn't take, and milk products and other things like that, which is another discussion. We will continue that via writing. But before that, we were reading from the chapter 6 of Going Beyond Vaikuntha. Krishna's glories are inconceivable. And so, our Gurudev was questioning that how is it possible that Krishna, who is becoming completely covered by love and affection of the Brajabasis, so much so that he forgets that he is God, his Aishwarya, his knowledge of himself being God, is covered by the love and affection of the Brajabasis, by his cowherd boy friends, by his cows, by his mother and father and parent figures, by his gopis especially, and especially Srimati Radhika's love and affection. He completely forgets, I am God, and he's begging after them, serving them. This is the nature of Krishna's relationship with the Brajabasis in Vrindavan. That love is so great that it conquers Krishna himself. Everyone is completely controlled by love. Love in Vrindavan is the supreme controller. Krishna is controlled by it, the Brajabasis are controlled by it, the gopis are controlled by it. Love is controlling everything in Vrindavan. Srila Gurudev said this. So how is it possible that Krishna will hear the crying prayers of any jiva in this world? We're crying, Krishna, please help me. I'm drowning in this ocean of fire of material existence. Please save me from this place. And please bring me into your service. How will Krishna hear it? So Srila Gurudev is explaining that in Vrindavan, Krishna is so absorbed in his pastimes and completely drowning in prem, transcendental love and affection, that he forgets all other things of this world. His sarvagyata, his knowledge of his function of being knowledgeable of everything is also abandoned. And all of his 6 kinds of opulences also they're forgotten, they're also abandoned. What is it? All strength, all beauty, all knowledge, all fame, all wealth, all renunciation, everything. He forgets about all of these things. Then who will hear your prayer? So this is an important question. If our prayer doesn't reach Krishna's ears, then it seems as if we are crying and no one can hear us. If no one hears, then who will relieve us? If a small baby is crying for milk and no one hears him, what will the baby do? Our crying will merely be the same. Then Gurudev says, but don't worry, don't be disturbed. Krishna will hear. We may think, but how? How will he hear? If he listens, it will seem to be Aishwarya, a symptom of his opulence, his majesty. It will seem to be Aishwarya. So how is it that Krishna will hear if he's completely drowning in the ecstasy of the Brajbasis' love and affection? Premamrita plavanat. Gurudev said, to resolve this, Krishna possesses 2 qualities. What are these 2 qualities? He is simultaneously mugdha. Mugdha means, you say covered. Covered, Krishna is never covered by Mahamaya, but he is covered in Vrindavan by Yogamaya, by his internal transcendental deluding potency. Otherwise he could not, as I mentioned the other day, he could not perform his pastimes properly. We spoke about how when Narasimhadev had taken the form of a boar and was eating this farmer's corn, the farmer waited up all night with a stick to chase away that boar. When he saw the boar, he was chasing the boar with a stick, and then the boar, as he was running from the farmer, turned into Lord Nrsingadev, turned around, and then the farmer was completely awestruck. He was offering pranam, and Nrsingadev told him, I was coming to your farm because corn is my favorite food. But you think this farmer kept the stick? Immediately awe and reverence manifested in his heart. He was offering pranam, seeing Nrsingadev. Imagine Mother Yashoda chasing Krishna with a stick like that. And Krishna is running in a zigzag pattern. And then suddenly Krishna turns into Nrsingadev and says, ah, like that. This would disturb the Leela completely. It would be rasabas. So, by the potency of Yoga Maya, Krishna is covered. He is mugdha, covered, so that he thinks, I am just a small boy. And Mother Yashoda is my mother, and she's chasing me with a stick. And although death itself is afraid of Krishna, Krishna is afraid of the small stick of Mother Yashoda. And when she finally catches up to him and actually catches him, he is so afraid that he's crying in a panicked cry, like this, and rubbing his eyes with his two little hands. And tears are flowing from his eyes. He's afraid. But he's not turning into Lord Nrsingadev. He's remaining as a small child. And he's afraid of his mother. And then she's not thinking he's Bhagavan either. She's thinking he's my naughty little boy. And if I do not chastise him, if I don't discipline him, then what will become of him? He'll become a big gunda, dacoit, mafioso when he grows up. It is my duty as his mother to give him correction, some discipline and chastisement. So then she decides to bind him to his accomplice, that grinding mortar, which he utilized to stand upon in order to steal butter and feed it to the monkeys and the crows. So she decided to bind him to that, so that he would remain in one place and think about what he's done and not do it again. Make a vow that he will never do such things again. So this is the nature of Vrindavan, that Krishna becomes mugdha or covered, forgetful of his godhead, of his godhood. He thinks, I am the son of Mother Yashoda. She is my mother and she thinks he is my naughty little boy, but I love him with all of my heart. So in Vrindavan, Prabhupada said, the Brajabasis don't know that Krishna is God. All they know is that they love him. All they know is that they love him. And he loves them. And he forgets also that he's God. This is mugdha. And the other aspect is called sarvagyata. Sarvagya means all-knowing. He knows past, present, future, all phases of time, every single thing within all of his creation, every prayer, every thought, every motion, every movement of every microscopic particle in all of creation, all at the same time. This is sarvagyata. So Srila Gurudev here is saying that he possesses two qualities. He is simultaneously mugdha, covered, and sarvagya, all-knowing. What is the meaning of mugdha? Becoming so spellbound in love that it is just as if he doesn't know anything. Yes, Devaki, something similar to achintya bheda abhed. That inconceivable, simultaneously different and not different. This is inconceivable, simultaneously covered and not covered. Thank you for bringing that point up. It is also inconceivable, but yet everything is reconcilable within himself. Every irreconcilability is reconciled within himself. This is the definition of God or Krishna. Srila Prabhupada said that. Becoming so spellbound in love that it is just as if he doesn't know anything. That is mugdha. Yashoda grabs his ear and says, you go to the corner and continuously sit down and stand again. Don't you steal anymore. And he will really do it. Taking a small stick, Yashoda will say, today you will not get away without a beating. And Krishna will say, Mother, don't hit me, don't hit me. Srila Bhakti Kamal Govinda Maharaj said that when she saw Krishna weeping, crying, and putting his hand up and afraid, saying, Mother, don't hit me, because her heart is so soft, she really just wanted to teach him a lesson, but when she saw him weeping and crying like that, she felt bad and she put her stick down. She didn't want him to feel afraid, but still she told him, I will have to punish you. So he was saying, Mother, don't hit me, with tears coming from his eyes. This is called mugdhata, being spellbound in emotion. Fear itself is afraid of Krishna, yet he becomes frightened when Mother Yashoda approaches him with a stick. She will not beat him, she just says that she will, but he cries and the tears are flowing. So this is a lesson also. Don't beat children, but you might have to say, hey. There should be some respect. I remember reading from Srila Prabhupada, he said that traditionally in India, a father did not used to keep his son on his lap. The son would sit on the lap of the uncles or the grandfathers or anyone else, but not on the father's lap. Although the father felt so much affection for his son, but he felt that if I am too familiar with him, he won't respect me and he won't accept my discipline. So for that child's benefit, he would keep a little bit of social distance so that that child would respect him, and when he would say, hey, the child would feel okay. And he would follow the order of his father for that child's benefit. Of course, Nanda Baba could not do such a thing. How attractive was Krishna? Even Hiranyakashipu would take Prahlad on his lap and give him so much love and affection, up to a certain point. But after that, there would be some distance or respect. It was an interesting consideration. I just wanted to share that.
Question?
Yes?
Is this similar to or like a Chinta baby?
I already answered that. But thank you. Don't beat anyone, at least in my opinion. Sometimes Sri Guru might do so if we give over that right to Gurudev. That Gurudev, I am now a soul surrendered to you. What you need to do to wake me up, like Srila Govinda Maharaj, he said, you are so dense that even the thunderbolt of Indra cannot penetrate. Many, many strikes of the thunderbolt of Indra cannot penetrate. He said, so what is a disciple? A disciple is one who voluntarily places themselves in the position where severe discipline can be inflicted upon them by their guru. But this is a voluntary placement. I am giving over myself to you for your discipline. I trust that you understand what is beneficial for me. Krishnadas Brahmachari, who was at the time he was Brahmachari, he was quite young at the time. He said that Srila Gurudev had ordered him to go to school. He was quite young, and he decided that instead of going to school, he would go out on collection with all of the brahmacharis. So he was quite young at the time. He came to the mutt when he was very young. You know, the singer Krishnadas, disciple of Srila Bhaktivedanta Vaman Maharaj, and Shiksha disciple of Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. So, instead of going to school, which Gurudev ordered him to do, he went out on collection with the brahmacharis, and he did this for a few days. And Gurudev found out. Gurudev called him to his room and then gave him one smack. Gurudev was quite strong, but he gave him a smack at that time. And Krishnadas said that he became so afraid, he started crying, and he wet himself. And then he said that Gurudev's heart just melted so much with compassion. He didn't realize that this kind of effect would take place, and he said Gurudev never hit him again after that. But one time he gave him a smack. What are you doing? I told you to go to school. Why are you doing this? So in different situations we can see. For others, they may be able to accept that beating and it might be necessary for them. And for some, they may not be able to handle it and it might be too strong for them. So it depends. It depends. Sometimes we require it. Harsh words, harsh language. Like Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada said, what is the duty of the sadhu? To stand at the sacrificial altar with the upraised sword of transcendental knowledge to cut at our anarthas, which are like the heads of so many sacrificial goats. What is that sword? Strong language. What we need to hear to wake us up from our complete mundane stupor. We're completely bound in this material world. And you know, we all know, if someone's really nice and sweet, can you do this? It doesn't really adjust us. Not really. It doesn't. It has been determined over millions and billions of years that discipline is required from Sri Guru to awaken us from our shushupti, our deep, deep, ignorant sleep of material existence. Jeev Jago, wake up, wake up. You're sleeping on the lap of the witch Maya. You're completely bound in this material world, cycling through samsara, again and again, running toward your own death. Now you should wake up and chant the holy names of the Lord. We're so intoxicated, so dense. I know I have felt like this in the past, and I'm sure in the future, when I look back at myself now, I will think, my God, back then you were as dense as a brick. Now I look back at 20 years ago and I'm thinking, my God, I was as dense as a brick. For me now, I'm looking back 20 years. I'm hopeful that in the future I will look back at the current me and think the same thing. What was required to awaken me to the point of where I'm able to look back and see how dense I was then? What could not penetrate? How asleep I was? How dull I was? And so we require a lot of heavy encouragement, strong encouragement, awakening. And it might be that Guru comes in one way or another. Guru might pat you on the head because that's what you need at this time. And then later on, he might give heavy chastisement. Our Srila Gurudev said in 1998 in Sri Keshavaji Gaudiya Mat Mathura, he said, I have to be so careful with all of you from the West. He said, because I know that if I say even one little thing that slightly pinches you, it means pinches your ego. He said, you will say, oh, I don't like Narayan Maharaj. And he said, and then you will leave me and bhakti forever. He said, but I know that even if I beat, and he mentioned 3. At that time he mentioned Madhav Maharaj, who is Naveen Brahmachari, Shubhananda, and Subal Sakha. They were all brahmacharis at that time. Now 3 sannyasis. But he said, even if I beat them bitterly, I know that they will never leave me. So this is actually something that we should be able to come to that point where we can receive that harsh chastisement from Gurudev and accept that this is mercy that I require for me to wake up from this material existence that I have been bound in since time without beginning. And by my own potency, by my own strength, I have been unable to extract myself from this Maya. Maya Mugda, Jiva Nahi, Svata Krishna Gyan. By my own strength, I cannot remove myself from Maya and give myself knowledge of Krishna. I require the, what does Krishna say? Dando damayatam asmi. That I am the rod of chastisement. Krishna says this. So it depends on what we can accept and what we can't. And Sri Guru can see the nature of our heart and know exactly how much to give or how much not to give. Sometimes more than a physical beating, it might be, I don't want to see them. We've all seen this and we've all heard this before. If any husband or wife says this, I don't want to see your face. It means, oh my God, maybe I've done something very wrong, or why do they say something like that? Oh, maybe I should try to make an adjustment. So there are different ways that we can be woken up or awakened. And it is not always heavy physical punishment. It might be light, it might be a chastisement, it might even be a glorification. I've seen glorifications made in such a way that you understand that the glorification is actually, you can call it a cutting stab, if you want to say it like that. It's actually a chastisement. Oh, you are so good. You know so many things. You are so strong. Yes, I know. Like this. And then it can be, oh, why is my Gurudev glorifying me like this? Maybe I need this. That my Gurudev is going to glorify me in front of everyone. Oh, maybe Maybe it's my ego and he's actually chastising me in a way that appears to be glorification. So there's different ways that Guru understands how to adjust the disciple to bring them from our current state of ignorance toward a greater state of awakenedness. Is that a right word? Awakenedness. So I just wanted to mention that. Let's see here. For those who were with Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj, they used to compete to get close to him. Why? He had a cane. And whoever would sit really close, he would take that cane periodically and pop, whomp him on the head. And they used to fight to get into that position. And they would understand that this is great mercy. So that whoever he would hit with his cane, they would feel like, I received the mercy of my Gurudev. And there have been cases in history. There was one who used to hit people with a whip. What was that? Abhiram Thakur. And immediately it would awaken prema within them. And another one who used to hit with a flute. And they would also, prema would be awakened within them. So we don't really understand the quality of the transcendental pure devotee, in which way they can remove millions of lifetimes of anarthas and wake up our tendency to serve Krishna. We know that Narada Muni became so angry, he cursed those two personalities, Nala Kubera and Manigriva. Why? They were drunk, they were naked, they were hanging out and enjoying with the apsaras, the heavenly damsels. Narada Muni came in the vicinity, and immediately the apsaras went and hid in the bushes and covered themselves. And they were respectful to Narada Muni. But these two who were drunk, the sons of Kubera, Manigriva and Nala Kubera, they were like, hey, old man, what's your problem? Why are you coming here and disturbing our fun? Why don't you get lost? Bugger off. Like, really, they were quite rude toward him. And Narada Muni thought, Kubera is my very near and dear friend. I am like their uncle. Also, I have the right to chastise these personalities. So he said, because you are here playing like in such a way, and you're naked and being disrespectful and everything, if you want to be like this, all naked in public and playing, then you can become naked and live in the public for a long time as trees. So, you should become trees. Immediately they started turning into trees and realized, oh my God, we have made a severe aparad to Narada Muni. So this seems very unfair. Narada Muni just cursed these two to become trees because they were drunk and naked and playing with beautiful damsels from the heavenly planets. As they were becoming trees, they fell at his feet and begged for mercy. And he told them, don't worry, you will become trees, but Krishna himself will play around you. You will witness all of the sweet pastimes of Krishna and he will personally liberate you. So with any chastisement or curse of any pure devotee, there's always auspiciousness. There's no negative thing whatsoever. And these two personalities, Krishna himself liberated, but how? With a single moment of anger. He glanced at them. Who is stopping me from having fun with my friends? Because the grinding mortar got caught between those two trees, it stopped and Krishna looked back with anger for one moment. And immediately, everything, all anarthas and everything were burnt to ashes. And they were manifest again in their original forms. And these two personalities eventually became eternal associates of Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan named Madhukanta and Snigdhakanta. After witnessing all of the transcendental pastimes of Krishna, they are the ones who sing of Krishna's pastimes in the court of Nanda Baba and the other elders. They all hear the glories of Krishna as sung by these two personalities who have witnessed all of the sweet pastimes of Krishna. So there's great benefit in the curse of the pure devotee. Even a Brahmin cursed King Nriga because he took back something which he had already given to another and then gave that thing to another person. This is lizard mentality. You are stealing something from someone and giving it to someone else, something that you had already given away. So they cursed him to become a lizard. At that moment he was praying to them, please forgive me, I have made severe offense, please be merciful to me. And they said, Krishna himself will liberate you. And Krishna himself liberated this King Nriga. So we see the effect of the chastisement of transcendental personalities or of the Lord Himself. It is always beneficial, always auspicious. So if we are somehow in the vicinity of any pure Vaishnava, Sri Guru, and they give some punishment or chastisement, we should understand that this isn't something mundane or material, but with one moment, millions of lifetimes of anarthas can be burnt from our heart, removed from our heart. This is the mercy of the pure devotees. Paramanda Brahmite Kon Bhagyavan Ajiv Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Beach. After wandering through millions of universes and millions of different species of life since all eternity, any jiva soul, jiva, kon bhagyavan, who is extremely fortunate by the mercy of Krishna, receives in their life the condensed form of the mercy of Krishna, that is Krishna Kripa Shri Murti or Shri Guru, who, by whose presence and by whose association, Krishna Seva Vasanam, the desire to serve Krishna, is awakened within our heart. This is the nature of associating with such personalities. And by whatever medium they understand that we need to be able to move forward, they will give that appropriately. Let me just see. Shri Guru, maybe, but in general we should not beat anyone, surely, of course. Unless someone is directly attacking you and your family, then you might have to do so. If you don't beg for Guru to beat you in your mind, then the material energy will, without mercy. That's true also, Jiva Pavana Prabhu, thank you for saying that. We are constantly being beaten and subjugated by the material energy, the modes of material nature, goodness, passion, ignorance. We are being beaten by Maya constantly, even by our own family members, mentally, emotionally, sometimes physically. But we don't want to accept any slight discipline from Sri Guru and Vaishnavas, which actually will go to our eternal benefit. So, okay, let's see Balabhadra's question. I agree, Sri Guru has that authority, no doubt. My question or doubt is whether we should feel that we should beat someone or each other in the name of discipline. In this case, our Gurudev and our Guru Varga have always explained we should look at ourselves. We should see, I'm full of anarthas. I'm also full of so many faults. So I have this anger and tendency toward beating someone else, but this is actually not necessarily beneficial or auspicious. What benefit will it give them? Am I able to, with one hit of a flute or a stick, give them Krishna prema? No. We shouldn't tolerate nonsense in the name of bhakti, but who are we to beat someone else? Unless, of course, it is required in self-defense or defense of other Vaishnavas, it may be necessary. And we have seen that as well. We shouldn't just sit back as somebody is brutally beating someone else. This is wrong. Or brutally molesting someone else, or not brutally molesting someone else. To just sit back, this makes us complicit in this activity, so that is also not good. We should use common sense. We've been given a brain for a reason. Someone asked a question, I believe it was Janardan Prabhu. He's saying like, okay, so we're not, if people are saying don't wear masks, and we're dependent on the mercy of Krishna, so why do we wear seatbelts in cars? Should we just not wear seatbelts? Where do you draw the line here? And so many people were arguing the point about masks versus no masks. Srila Prabhupada, he said, you know that tigers' nature is to attack other animals who are weaker than themselves, and they eat them. So if you go into the jungle and you know there's a tiger, you shouldn't just tempt that tiger. He said this is not Krishna conscious, this is not intelligent, it's foolish to go into that knowing there's a tiger, then the tiger will attack you. This is not what we should do. So if you know there's a danger, then don't tempt it. Don't think, oh, I'm a devotee, so Krishna will protect me, so let me jump off a cliff and Krishna will catch me. That's stupidity. That's not bhakti. That's not intelligent. It's like, okay, let me test my shraddha. Prahlad Maharaj was in a different situation. He was completely surrendered to the Lord, but he wasn't jumping off a cliff to try to prove that Krishna will catch him, then this would be intentionally engaging Krishna in his own service. And Krishna could choose, you know what? I'm not your servant. He could choose. But Hiranyakashipu was having Prahlad thrown off a cliff. There's a difference. In that case, yes. Then Krishna is catching him. In every situation, Krishna is protecting him. Whether Hiranyakashipu put him in boiling oil, whether he put him in a pit of snakes, whether he poisoned his food, whether he put him under the feet of a massive elephant, whether he put him on an island to endure a huge hurricane, whether he had his own guards trying to chop up and pierce Prahlad, but there, because Prahlad was completely absorbed in remembering Krishna, he had no other shelter, no other recourse. Then Krishna protected him in every situation. Krishna provided the sari. Krishna manifested as the sari of Draupadi. When she finally surrendered to him, she called out to Krishna, and then he protected her and her dignity. But we should not intentionally place ourselves in a dangerous situation and dare Krishna. Okay, Krishna, now you have to fulfill your promise to protect me because I'm your one-pointed devotee. This is not actually one-pointed devotee. This is trying to engage Krishna in our own service. Rather, we should have this mood, how can I engage in your service? You have given me some capacity, so if I understand that there is a massive risk of car accident, I mean, how many car accidents usually are there every year? Maybe less this year because less cars have been on the road. But they've made a little strap, and this can help in a large number of cases. So Krishna has given me this strap and a buckle. So put it in and then drive. What's the harm in that? Don't enter into a forest when you know there's a tiger there that's a hungry man eating tiger, and then tempt fate. So Prabhupada, he explained that we should not say, oh, I'm a devotee, so Krishna will come and serve me. That we should have this mood. Rather, we should have a mood that I should be of service to Krishna. Like Sanatan Goswami said to Rupa Goswami, do you want that our Swamini Srimati Radhika will serve us, or that we should serve her? So it might be in some situation, yes, Krishna will protect and save and whatever. This is called Shraddha. That everything is automatically taken care of, that Krishna is my protector and my maintainer. These are the symptoms of Sharanagati, of surrender. That Krishna is my protector and maintainer. But we should not overuse or abuse that unless we're really on that level. If we're actually on that level, like Jar Bharat or Maharaja Rishabdev, he was in such a state where he appeared just like a dumb animal. And so many were abusing him. People were throwing dirt on him, spitting on him, saying abusive words toward him. He was completely oblivious to what anyone said or thought. Evam vritasva priyanama kirtya jatanurago drijachitta uchchai asatyato roditi rodigayat yunmadavan vritati lokabahya. Always remembering Krishna's names, forms, qualities, and pastimes. Being in complete ecstasy, sometimes falling on the ground, sometimes crying, laughing, like a mad person. Completely mad. Does a mad person know they're mad? Generally not. It says, lokabahya, in the end. Completely indifferent to what the worldly persons think. Even being in such a situation, he didn't worry about where his food was coming from, where his bodily fluids were going. He was just in such a situation. On that level, yes, you can be like that if you're on that level. But otherwise, we should not do foolish things and then say, Krishna, now it's your turn to come to me. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, he explained that Krishna is not a laborer in our garden, someone that we've hired, that we can snap our fingers at any moment and say, hey, you come now. Rather, we should see that we are the servants of Krishna, and we should prepare ourselves in such a way to make our hearts so attractive that Krishna will want to come and play there, but for his pleasure and happiness, not that we should engage him in our service. We should always be of the mindset that how can I be a instrument for his service. When Narasimhadev Bhagavan offered Prahlad, take any benediction from me, he said, I am not a merchant, I am not a businessman. You are my eternal master and I am your eternal servant. So in the relationship between servant and master, it is not proper of a servant to take any special favors from the master. It is only his nature to serve his master without any expectation. And for the master, it is also not befitting to offer special favors to the servant, because that could spoil the servant. So he just said, I'm not a businessman. I'm completely pleased in being your servant forever. And Mahaprabhu says the same thing in Sri Shikshashtakam. Mama janmani janmanishware bhavatad bhaktir ahaitiki tvai. That birth after birth, in whatever situation I may be in, let me always have pure, unalloyed bhakti for you. Just like that. May I love you, may I serve you. I don't want anything from you. Again and again we see this mood from those who are pure devotees. They don't want anything for themselves. So yes, we should not beat others. Unless it's an absolute emergency, sometimes it might be necessary. And I'm just going to mention it very quickly. Sometimes people say, it is never okay to hurt anyone else. But there's always a line that's drawn. You know? If someone breaks into your house and is literally taking out one family member after the next, and you have one more that you can save, it might be necessary to stop them in their tracks. And that you might need to use excessive force. There's nothing wrong with that. According to modern law and according to Shastra, it's okay, it's fine, it's good. So sometimes it might be necessary. And so this line is something that we have to draw on our own. Guru-disciple relationship? Yes, we won't beat you. Okay, let me just check. Okay, so now we will continue. We have a few more minutes. So we were talking about Krishna and Mother Yashoda with her stick. And then we began speaking about Guru. And sometimes, like even Prabhupada said regarding the Gurukul teachers, he said, you can raise the stick, show the stick, but don't use it. So some people went a little bit far. A lot of people went a little bit far. But he mentioned it like this. Mother Yashoda raised the stick, but she did not use it. But it was to instill a mood of respect and even a little fear that he should be careful. So she showed the stick, but she felt very bad. And when Krishna was saying, no, mother, don't hit me, and tears were pouring from his eyes, at that time, she will not beat him. She puts the stick down. She just says that she will beat him. But when he cries and the tears are flowing, she starts to feel bad in her heart. Here, is Krishna really crying or is he just making a show of it? Ordinary people who have the mood of Aishwarya Gyan toward God, means understanding his awe and majesty, like Arjuna did when Krishna showed his universal form. He began chanting prayers, Prasida Devesha Jagannivasa. I'm so sorry for all of the way that I have treated you as a best friend with so much affection and friendship. Please forgive me. I have made so many aparads. I understand that you are the Supreme Lord. So most people are approaching God from this kind of perspective, that you are the Supreme Lord of everything. You are great. You are the controller of everything. I am nothing. I am just your humble servant. This mood is there and it is good. It is okay. So for those who have this mood predominating, they will say, will Bhagavan cry? Never. He will never cry. What could he possibly be afraid of? No, even death itself, death personified, is afraid of the Lord. In Bhagavatam it says that simply by the movement of his eyebrows, the sun and the moon move in their orbits out of fear of the Lord. It means how much respect, how much awe, how much reverence do they have toward him? But in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita it is said that love which is dominated by awe and reverence, by this Aishwarya Gyan, is made feeble, is made weak. And this kind of love does not capture or control the heart of the Lord, of Krishna. But even the chastising words of the Brajabasis, when they call him, hey, tum lampat chor, like that, they call him thief, you cheater, nonsense, like this. Oh, Krishna says, this completely melts and captivates my heart, and I become completely controlled by their love and affection. And even now in Vrindavan, you can see that there's this kind of mood, this language that the Brajabasis have with each other. It's very cutting and a little bit harsh sometimes. Talking very like cutting. But you know that they have this deep affection for one another, that they can talk to each other like that. I've mentioned it before, how a girl who thinks maybe her best friend looks so beautiful today, she'll say, oh, I hate you. It means I'm jealous of you. I wish I was like you, and I think you are so beautiful. So, oh, she hates me, and she'll be smiling because of that relationship, the depth of that relationship. In this way, the Brajabasis, because of their love and affection, it is so great. Even their chastisements, their chastising words to Krishna, he takes it. It's the sweetest nectar. It is nectar to his ears and his heart. Whereas all the flowery prayers of the Vedas, based on a mood of awe and reverence and fear. What is Aishwarya or Vaidhi Bhakti? It is based on rules and regulations and fear. It is fear-based. If I don't serve Krishna, if I don't follow the rules of God, then I may suffer in hell. Out of fear, I should worship him. So this is kind of like a little bit forced. If anyone, maybe you've seen back in the day, any TV show where they give some potion, love potion to someone, and they have these glossed over eyes and they fall in love. But do they really love you or not? Is it real or is it because of the force? You will never be satisfied if you force. That's why Krishna doesn't force us to love him. We're not forced. We have the independence whether we love him or not. And if we choose of our own accord to love Krishna, to love him because we want to love him, oh, this gives him so much happiness and pleasure. Otherwise, he would instantly force all of us to love him. But this doesn't interest him, forced love. Even our Gurudev, when anyone would bring their child, their teenage son or whatever, to see him, Gurudev would say, did they come on their own or did you force them to come? And they would say, no, they wanted to come and see you. And then our Gurudev would say, good, because I don't want anyone to feel forced. You cannot force love, you cannot force affection. And so his mood through telling Harikatha was how to attract our hearts to want to give up everything in favor of loving Krishna. Really, to just accept Krishna and to become so attracted to Krishna that everything else would become insignificant. This was how he approached the subject of Krishna Katha and how he approached all of us. How to attract us in such a way that we will develop a higher taste by which automatically everything else will become insignificant. So here, they will think, those with Aishwarya Gyan, knowledge of Krishna's opulence, who are worshipping him in such a way. Ordinary people will say, will Bhagavan cry? He will never cry. What could he possibly be afraid of? But premi bhaktas, devotees whose hearts are saturated with love and affection, praying for Bhagavan, what will they say? They will say that he is really crying. This is called mugdhata. So they see that Krishna is really crying. Krishna is also feeling that I am really crying. And the pure devotees also, they have forgotten Krishna's Aishwaryata and they see him only as their dearest love. So they also have mugdhata, transcendental love and affection, by which all of their Aishwarya Gyan is covered. No, God is God, always. And everything else is that the servant of God. Ekala Ishvara Krishna Ar Sababritya. There's only one supreme controller and Lord of everything, that is Krishna. And everything else in all creation, transcendental, material, everything is subservient to Krishna. But for Krishna's pleasure, for his happiness, the devotees of Vrindavan, they take so many roles, and they are so absorbed in those roles that they completely forget Krishna is God. And all they know is he is my best friend, he is my child, my Lala, he is my Prananath, he is my dear most beloved of my heart. They don't think of him that, oh, he is God. And sometimes they hear that, oh, some astrologer said that he is somehow infused by the Shakti of Narayan, maybe he's God. And then they will actually tease him and joke with him about it. Oh, you're God, huh? So you did this, you did that, really? They will actually cut jokes toward him about it. But still they are also covered, so covered that they don't see any of that. They don't see that he is God. If Jarasandha, Putana, Aghasur, Bakasur, Kamsa or Narakasur come, these are all different demons, then this young boy named Krishna kills them. This is his quality of Sarva Shakti Mata, having all power. So he kills them. So how does he do this? This is interesting. When the original Supreme Lord is present, the Adi, original form, from whom all other forms manifest, all other forms are present within him. So all Vishnu Tattva is present within him. Krishna himself is completely absorbed in pastimes. Baby Krishna isn't thinking, this Putana is a witch, she has come to kill me, so let me suck out her milk and her life as well, because she came with poison on her breast. He's 3 days old. He's just a baby in Vrindavan, sleeping peacefully. But within his form, all Vishnu avatars are present. Even Mathura Krishna. Vasudeva Maharaj brought his Krishna to Vrindavan. And his Krishna merged into the original form of Krishna, which is Braj Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells Sanatan Goswami, Krishna Swarup Vichar Shuno Sanatan Advait Gyan Tattva Braje Brajendra Nandan. Oh Sanatan Goswami, listen. What is the truth about the nature of Krishna? Krishna Swarup Vichar. The truth about his nature, his Swarup. Shuno Sanatan, listen Sanatan. Advait Gyan Tattva, the supreme, non-dual, absolute truth himself is none other than Braje Brajendra Nandan, Vrindavan's son of Nanda Maharaj, Krishna. So he's the original, origin of all other forms, including Mathuresh Krishna, Dwarkadish Krishna, Ram, Adi, Murti, and all other aspects or forms of Bhagavan. Braj Krishna is the original. Because when it comes to this conversation, Mahaprabhu has established that in Tattva, according to Tattva, all are the same. So then how do you differentiate? Only by Ras. And Ras means transcendental nectar, depth of relationship. So this Ras is only manifest in its fullness, in completeness. All 12 Rasas, means the primary and secondary Rasas, are fully manifest in Krishna. Srimad Narayan is only manifesting 2.5 of those Rasas. But Krishna in Vrindavan manifests 12. So the Vishnu forms within Krishna take care of the responsibility of killing the demons. What is Krishna doing? He's holding on to the neck of Trinavarta. And Trinavarta is taking him higher and higher up into the sky, and he's so happy. It's his first roller coaster ride. He's going up and up and up, and he's seeing all of the pathways to all of the gopis' homes and mind mapping it. Now I can see everything. And then Trinavarta took him so high that he went above the clouds, and Krishna could no longer see Vrindavan. At that point, he began holding on for dear life. He became afraid. I've been taken away from my Vrindavan. Vrindavanam parityajya paramekam nagachati. Krishna does not step 1 foot outside of Vrindavan. So he began holding on tightly to the neck of Trinavarta. At that time, the Vishnu form within Krishna performed the pastime of killing this demon Trinavarta by making his eyeballs pop out of his socket. And then he fell down to the ground. There was a song we learned when we were young. Sing it with me, Sudevi. Trinavarta came from Kamsa, shaped like a whirlwind, putting Krishna on his shoulders, darkening Vrindavan. Dust, dust all around, baby Krishna can't be found. Yashoda is crying upon the ground. But baby Krishna made himself as heavy as a mountain. He caught Trinavarta's neck and made him fall down, down, down to the ground. Simple Trinavarta, demons die away, and Krishna is safe. So, you know, once upon a time we were in Fiji with our Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. Yes, this is one of our nursery songs. What we learned when we were very little, that we didn't hear any music or any song from outside. Our superheroes were Krishna, Srila Prabhupada, Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, whom we only knew as that one disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada who exchanged clothes with him and went out to receive whatever chastisement they wanted to give. So we had these as heroes. We didn't have any television, any Superman or Batman or Spider-Man. We had Krishna and Prabhupada and Vaisnavas and Shastra. So these were the songs that they made for us. And we would sing these and we would listen to Krishna stories as we went to bed at night, or Prabhupada chanting. So we were in Fiji with our Gurudev, and our Gurudev asked us in his room, he said, do you know any English songs? And we said yes. So it was just myself and Sudevi in Gurudev's room with him, and the door was closed. And he said, can you sing it?
We actually recorded it.
Do we still have it?
Yeah.
We have it?
Yeah.
So we recorded it. So we were there. Oh, you mean the one we sang in the evening, or what we did in his room?
It's both.
Oh, really?
That's what that darshan tape
Okay.
is.
So we have a darshan tape. So we sang the entire Govardhan Leela song for Gurudev.
It takes like
It
7-8 minutes.
It's no longer than that, maybe 10, 12 minutes. And Gurudev was sitting there, just moving his finger like this, back and forth, conducting and like that. And then he said, do you know something any shorter? So then we sang the Putana song for him. Rup Kishore was outside the door listening, and he said, I was dying to come inside and sing with you. And so we sang the Putana song for Gurudev. And the Gurudev said, okay, tonight at Harikatha,
be ready.
Be ready. And we were like,
and he said, sing it slowly.
Yeah, sing slowly. So there was 300 guests. We were in a Hindu temple, the Vishnu Mandir in Lautoka, Fiji. And Gurudev was speaking. He was speaking on some subjects, and then he came to Krishna Lila, and then he was speaking one pastime after the next, and then he came to Putana, and he started going to the next, and he said, wait!
He said, oh!
Oh, these two, they will sing one song, and we were so embarrassed.
He said, my Western disciples.
Oh, we turned completely red, and we sang the Putana song, and we were just like, oh. And
Rajana Prabhu, everyone was laughing at us.
They were like teasing us, laughing at us, and oh, it was so difficult, but we did it.
Gurudev was so happy.
Yes, Gurudev was very happy. And surprisingly, afterward, like 1/3 of the crowd came to us, do you have any CD? You have songs in English? And we were like, what? But anyhow, it was a very sweet occurrence. So, Krishna did not kill him personally. Shastra says, and our Guru Varga explains, and Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita explains, that it was the Vishnu forms within Krishna whose function it is to kill the demons, who killed the demons. Krishna's function is not to kill demons, especially in Vrindavan. What is his weapon? He has only one weapon. That is his flute. His function is only to attract and to love. That is Braja Krishna. So we will end on that sweet note. Madhurena samarpayet. Krishna's function is to attract and to love. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Panu Guru Varga ki jai, Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bo. And this subject will be continued further as we are reading along.
Maybe tomorrow we'll sing you the Putana song.
Maybe. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Oh Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare It's too high. Oh Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Oh Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Oh Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, महाराज की जय। हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय। गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। गोविंद दामोदर माधवी की। गोविंद दामोदर माधवी की। गोविंद दामोदर माधवी की। गोविंद दामोदर माधवी की। बोलो राधे 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 जय 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 श्री राधे। राधे 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 जय 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 श्री राधे। राधे 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 जय 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 श्री राधे। श्री वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। जय जय श्री राधे। जय जय श्री राधे। जय जय श्री राधे। श्याम गौर प्रेमानंदे।
Hari Hari Bol.
So thank you all very much for being with us today, for giving us the opportunity for remembering the beautiful teachings of our Srila Gurudev and our Guru Varga, and for engaging us in our Guru Seva. We look forward to being with all of you tomorrow. Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.